G'day guys, welcome back to the Total War podcast. Today I'm joined by SaphirePhoenix,
Hello.
and we're going to be interviewing you today, just like we have with Cold Meat, Snowhood, and Hephaestion. So start off, like we asked everyone else, what was the initial thing that caused you to record and upload videos to YouTube?
It was during my first year at uni. I had 3-day weekends, to put it bluntly. That's how relaxed my course was in the first year, to say. And I'd been watching a lot of YouTube. I'd been doing a lot of gaming to pass the time, and I decided I'll try and combine the two. And within a few weeks, I was starting to get views, comments, subscribers, and met people like Cold Meat and Duplexed who helped me along, and it just sort of grew from there, really.
Awesome. So, for people who don't know, where are you from?
I'm from the UK.
There you go. And so far, with uploading everything, what's your favorite thing about it?
Probably the interaction with the community. I do try and reply to as many comments as I can on my videos, not necessarily all of them, and sometimes there are comments that I just don't want to reply to, but for the most part, I reply to people, and there's that interaction that I have with the community, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty common thing among all the commentators. Um, what videos on your channel are you looking to do in the future other than Total War?
In the future, other than Total War, Company of Heroes, that's a big one I'm wanting to do. I've actually got all my games installed on my computer right now, so I'm just having a look through them. So yeah, Company of Heroes is one. Far Cry 3 is another. Um, it's quite difficult. Maybe Mountain Blade again. Probably going to go back to that at some point. Maybe do some Fire and Sword. Been thinking about doing Sid Meier's Civilization 5 as well. I might try and record something, a genre I've not actually ever uploaded on my channel before. So maybe something like Battlefield 3. I don't know. That's just that's an idea. It's not a confirmed plan or anything. But mostly strategy games. But it's quite hard to pick out certain games without Total War being among them.
Yeah, for sure. Just a little thing there. There is new DLC coming out for Civilization 5, which
Oh,
was
there is?
announced. Yeah, it's focusing on new diplomacy and stuff like that. So,
Oh, okay.
um,
Rip.
what would you say is your favorite Total War game?
Oh, this is one I get asked a lot. For me, probably Medieval 2. And a lot of people I know would say Rome Total War, but for me, I think Medieval 2 is my favorite. Um, for a number of reasons, to be honest. But I think it just looks so awesome. It looks gorgeous. I mean, it's that game between Rome and Empire, so it's got better graphics than Rome, not quite as good as Empire, but it's got a nice balance to it. The era is perfect as well. The units are amazing to use. The response time's a little slower than Rome was, but it's if to me it feels a little more realistic
Yeah,
in certain ways. But probably Medieval 2.
and I'm sure a lot of people could guess this, but what is your favorite mod for the Total War games?
If nobody knows already, it's Third Age. Third Age is my favorite mod at the moment. But there is that Westeros Total War mod coming out based on Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire. So when that becomes released, I know it's in the alpha, but I'm waiting for it to be fully released. So once I've had a chance to play that, who knows, I might be a little torn between the two.
Um, and for the big upcoming Rome Total War 2, is there any huge things you're looking forward to in terms of change, such as the land and naval battles combining?
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite points. Another couple is, I believe we talked about it in the Tusenberg video, where's the whole new way they're doing ambushing. The whole being able to move through the forest without being detected, and being able to launch balls of fire at your enemies and things like that. And another one I think for me is probably the maps. If you saw in the Carthage demo, what you saw on the game is somewhere that you could actually go to. So the camera showed the battle, and then it showed a bit of the scenery. You could see buildings in the background, and the camera literally just kept going on and on throughout the city. So pretty much everything you see is somewhere you can go to, which I think is going to be amazing, and it's going to make the battles so much bigger and so much more complex and a lot more realistic in some ways to being a commander in it.
Yeah,
So I think that's probably one of my other big favorite parts of the new upcoming game.
Awesome. So moving a bit away from the gaming side, would you say
Sure.
that you would have on YouTube a person, your favorite commentator, and someone who has inspired you, or are they one and the same?
Um, I would probably say there's a couple. There's a couple out there. Sinan is probably my favorite, just because every time I watch one of his videos, I'm always laughing, every single time. I don't think I've seen a video where I haven't at least smiled yet, of his. But I think probably Gassy Mexican and maybe Eat My Diction as well. They're a couple of my favorites. They're always playing games against each other or doing individual games that I love to watch. So probably those three are my top ones, I would say. It's quite hard to pick out a selection, but those will probably be in my top three, top
Yeah.
five.
And would you say any of them have influenced your commentary style, or do you believe that you've forged your own unique style?
A bit of both, really. I think I've built my own sort of style, but I think it's been influenced by them. You know, this being a much more confident and louder speaker when I'm doing commentary is definitely something that was influenced by watching those guys. You know, when I first started, I was a lot quieter than I am now. So watching those guys and sort of not mimicking, but you know, sort of taking ideas of the way they speak in their commentaries, taking some of their styles, and then fitting it to make me feel comfortable as I'm doing it, and it's sort of produced this whole my own style in a way.
Yeah, for sure. Um, how has YouTube affected and uploading being a content provider? How has it affected your life outside of YouTube? In terms of just time, have you felt that it's a time-consuming project to keep up and everything like that?
Yeah, it's definitely a uh, it's definitely a time-consuming hobby. Um, for me, I'm doing 4 series at a time at the moment, and so I've got to find time to record maybe an hour and a half up to 2 hours for each one. So you're talking maybe, well, each week you're probably talking maybe 8 hours of recording.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe more, depending on how much time I have or how much I get into the game or want to carry on recording, or how much space I have left to record on my computer. But you're sort of looking about 8 hours a week, and that you know, when you have a part-time job as well, like I do, it can sometimes be a little difficult to find a way to sort of do both of them at the same time, as well as having like a social life outside. And it gets even harder when, like in my job, you get given overtime by your employers, so you're doing even more hours than your other job. So it makes it even more difficult to do everything else. Um, but at the end of the day, you have a lot of fun when you do it, and the reward is pretty good. You know, you get a lot of feedback from the community. You get a lot of either praise. I mean, you get negativity as well, but obviously you get a lot of positive feedback as well. And people obviously give you tips and you help you improve. And I think the reward of doing it outweighs any negatives, really, in my opinion.
Yeah. And before starting YouTube itself, would you say you had any major expectations? Um,
No,
no, none at
I didn't
all.
have any. I didn't have any expectations. I didn't even because the YouTube world is basically one that is very difficult to get anywhere in. Um, you know, to get where I am, I actually had a lot of help. Diplex Heated helped me a lot when I was about 800 subscribers, or about 300 subscribers actually. He very willingly and very happily uploaded one of my Medieval 2 England campaign episodes, and he was on about 15,000 subscribers at the time. And as soon as he uploaded that, I gained about 600 subscribers in the matter of 24 hours. And that gave me a bit of a kickstart into the community, which then sort of slowly grew up to the point where I am now. I also had people like Cold Meat who helped to give me advice on how to, you know, how to do my gameplays, how to do my commentaries, the sort of styles of my channels, and how to sort of work around them and work with people in the community and everything like that. And I had a lot of help to get where I
Yeah.
am now. So it's very difficult. So I didn't have any expectations at the start at all.
No, that's all good. So, um, if you were to retire from YouTube, say today or tomorrow, Would you say that you have left a mark on the Total War community?
Yeah, I would like to think so. I mean, the Total War community, the Total War gameplay or Total War games are well known pretty much for any gamer. If you're a true gamer, you would know about the Total War games. Or if you're a big gamer, you would know about them. But there's not a lot of people, a lot of people like us who actually make videos on them on YouTube. There's not a lot, or not a lot of well-known people. So I like to think I've made some kind of impact,
Yeah.
and I hope I have. So.
Yeah, for sure. If the possibility arises, would you ever make YouTube your full-time job and income?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, as I said earlier, I have fun doing it, and I think I could probably make it into a full-time job if the opportunity came around.
Yeah. Well, you're on your way. So,
Yeah.
um, now moving on to the Total community itself. What are your honest to personal opinions about the community, spanning from the interaction between the commentators and how the subscribers, um, how they treat the commentators and just the community in general, basically.
How would I what? Sorry.
What's your like personal opinion on all of that?
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Sort of the relationship between the two.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, I think the relationship between the two is definitely an important one. Like I said, the Total War community is not a huge thing in YouTube in comparison to everything else. I mean, um, and the interaction between the commentator or the video maker and the actual subscribers and viewers themselves, I think, is very important because it helps get the videos noticed. It helps get the Total War franchise noticed a bit more. And YouTube, I think, is like the second or third biggest website that's visited every single day. So you're talking hundreds of millions of people around the world who are on it. So if we can even get even 1 million people to watch a number of videos on YouTube of Total War gameplay through the partnership of the video maker and the community, I think that's a big impact.
yeah,
And I think the way they work together. So like for me, my community are very, very good at giving me advice and tips. They have discussions in between themselves as well, which is pretty amazing. And I talk to them as well, and we get feedback back and forth, and it helps to build on the videos as well. So that sort of relationship helps the channels, I don't know, grow better in a
yeah,
way. You get what I'm trying to say?
yeah. And would you say the commentators have a pretty decent communication like between each other? Like a good example would be the Minecraft community. The commentators are very close knit, setting up a lot of collabs and stuff like that. Would you say that's the same within the Total War community?
Probably not to the same extent, but it's definitely there. That sort of connectivity is definitely there. A lot of Total War YouTubers will play battles against each other. I mean, Cold Meat and Snowhood, they're doing a co-op campaign at the moment on Rise of the Samurai.
Yeah,
You got all this co-op work, and it's not as big as Minecraft, but there's definitely there. It's
yeah.
definitely.
So you gave a pretty positive response to the community itself. So was there anything you would like changed within the community?
No, not really. I don't have that many problems with with the
Yeah,
community.
yeah,
I mean, every YouTuber is going to encounter someone who's negative, or one of those people who just subscribes to YouTube to be a troll. Everyone's going to encounter them. I've encountered many of them. Cold Meat encounters them. I'm sure you must have encountered at least one
yeah,
or
for
two.
sure.
So everyone will meet them. It's just you just got to ignore it and look at everyone else who's basically giving you positive feedback or feedback that you can use to improve your content or your channel, and then use it, respond to it, have that conversation in a way with them, and the relationship between the commentator and the community is going to grow and strengthen in a way. I know that sounds really soppy when I say that, but it's the only way I can think of explaining it. And
Oh yeah, all good. It's good answer. So we'll move on to the last segment of this interview, which is uh, basically tips and what you could say to someone who is starting out. But before we do ask that question, are there any challenges you have run into uploading in terms of just uh, local upload speeds and stuff like that, and you think that should be mentioned to other people? So
local
copyright and stuff.
I've encountered third-party content a lot. Before I became an actual partner, I encountered a lot of third-party stuff, and I ended up removing an entire series because of it. Um, the only reason was because 20 of about 100 of the videos in that series had to be removed. So I would say if you encounter those sorts of things, don't get uh, dissuaded by it. Just keep going. The third party content matches don't mean anything. You can always remove those videos at a later date if you want to. Just keep going, basically.
Yeah, so if you were able to give one main tip to someone who was starting out on YouTube,
hmm
what would you suggest to them? So you only had the chance to say one thing. What would it be?
Um, I would say I've actually got my little list here on my Facebook screen, but one of my tips I would probably say is the community are your friends. They're your partners, so you need to treat them as such. So, like, I know I've been saying it a lot throughout this interview, but reply to as many people as you can. The community loves that sort of interaction with the commentator. They get excited by it, and I get excited by just chatting to them as well. And they give you feedback, you give them feedback. That sort of interaction is what you need. I think that having that interaction with the community is probably one of the top three most important things you need to keep doing.
Yep. And for the last question, for any of your
Mm.
subscribers that are watching this and new people coming to your channel, do you have any sneak peek info as to any new series coming to your channel soon? Or are there any new series coming to your channel soon that
Well,
you
as
would
I
like to announce?
mentioned,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Um, I haven't got any plans for anything upcoming right now, not anything soon. But as I mentioned earlier, there is the whole Westeros
Yeah.
mod that's going to release soon. So I would probably say out of everything I'm planning on doing, that's probably going to be the biggest one. So I will be doing something. But I suppose other than that, there'll be my Dale series that'll be starting up eventually once Isengard's finished. But Isengard's still got a little way to go yet. But
Yeah.
there's nothing directly around the corner.
Yeah.
There's things that are going to be happening in a month or so's time, but nothing right around the corner like next week. Nothing
Yeah.
that soon.
All right. Thanks for joining us, SaphirePhoenix, for this
No
interview on the
problem at
Total
all.
War podcast. And we'll see you guys next time.